We're always told that success is just a simple formula. Work hard and you'll get there. But what if that's not the whole picture? Today, we're going to dive into the idea of the unfair advantage, a concept that could totally change the way you think about success.
Seriously, think about it for a sec. We hear this everywhere, right? It's this story we're sold that if you just hustle harder and longer than everyone else, you're guaranteed to win. It sounds good, it's definitely inspiring, but is it actually true?
Ah, yes, the gospel of hustle culture. You know the drill. The founder who wakes up at 3 a.m., the 100-hour work weeks, it's all sold to us as this one-size-fits-all secret recipe for making it big. But what if there's more to it? What if things like luck, where you grew up, and your unique circumstances play a role that's just as massive, maybe even bigger? And that's exactly what we're digging into today, based on the brilliant book, The Unfair Advantage.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. Fair play is all the stuff you can control. Working hard, being persistent, having grit. Anyone can technically do that. But unfair advantages, well, those are the things that are tough to copy. For example, if your parents can give you $500,000 to start your company, that's a huge head start that most people just can't replicate.
So boom, there's our definition. It's not just about your personal strengths, it's about the hand you've been dealt. But here's the kicker, and this is important. These advantages aren't just for the super rich. We all have them. The real trick is learning to spot them and actually use them.
All right, so how on earth do you find them? Well, lucky for us, the book gives us this awesome and super memorable tool called the MILS framework. It's basically a map that breaks down these advantages into 5 key areas to help you find your own edge.
Let's kick things off with M, for money. This is the one everyone thinks of, right? A great example is Evan Spiegel, the co-founder of Snapchat. He came from a wealthy family with great connections. Now, that doesn't mean he didn't work his tail off, but it did mean he had a safety net and access to doors that were closed to most people.
Next up in miles, we've got I for intelligence and insight. And listen, this isn't just about having a genius-level IQ. Take the Collison brothers who started Stripe. Yeah, they were incredibly book smart, but insight can also be about seeing a problem in a way nobody else does, or having amazing people skills.
Then there's L, location and luck. And location is a huge one. I mean, there's a reason so many tech companies pop up in Silicon Valley. When you're there, you're literally in the flow of new ideas, talent, and money. You're right in the middle of the action.
And this quote from Ray Kroc just nails it. The guy who built the McDonald's empire knew that being in the right spot is half the battle. But check out that second part, doing something about it. This is so key. Luck isn't just something that happens to you.
So that begs the question, right? Can you actually make your own luck? Well, yeah, some of it is just random chance, for sure. But a lot of it, you can actually stack the deck in your favor. It's all about creating more chances for lucky breaks to happen.
And here's how you do it. I love this idea of increasing your surface area for serendipity. It just means putting yourself out there more. Take action, meet new people, share what you're working on, ask for feedback. Basically, the more you do, the more chances you give luck to bump into you. Moving on to the E in miles, that's for education and expertise. Now, of course, a fancy degree from a top university can be a massive advantage. But what's really cool is that expertise is so much more than that these days. It's about real, deep skills, a lot of which are self-taught. When you think about a formal education, it really boils down to 3 big perks. You get the knowledge itself, you get access to a powerful network, and you get something called signaling, which is basically just a fancy term for street cred. It tells the world you've reached a certain level.
And last but not least, we have S for status. This is all about your personal brand, your reputation, how people see you. I mean, think about Elon Musk. His status is so high right now that if he tweeted tomorrow he was starting a new company, he'd have millions of dollars in funding by lunch. That's some serious power right there.
Okay, I can hear you thinking, that's great for all the billionaires and tech geniuses, but what about me? And this is where this whole idea gets really empowering. It's not about the advantages you don't have, it's about figuring out how to use the ones you do have.
This quote right here, it's the absolute core of the message. It's all about flipping the script on your own circumstances. That thing you think is holding you back might actually be your secret weapon. Let me show you what I mean. Let's take a classic one, not having a lot of money. It feels like a huge roadblock, I know, but think about it. It forces you to get scrappy, to be way more creative. You can't just throw cash at a problem. You have to find clever, better ways to succeed. As they say, necessity is the mother of invention.
Or how about this one? Being in the wrong location, far away from the big city hubs. Well, guess what? Your living costs are probably way lower, which gives you more time to build your dream. And you might be serving a whole market that the big city folks are completely ignoring. Every situation has an upside.
So, you've started to spot your potential advantages. Now what? How do you actually put them to work? Well, it all boils down to your mindset. And the authors have a really cool take on this. They call it an evolution of the typical growth mindset.
They call it the reality growth mindset. And it's not about blind optimism or just thinking positive. It's this amazing mix of two things. First, being brutally honest with yourself about where you are right now, your strengths, your weaknesses, the whole deal. And then you combine that with this rock-solid belief that you can always learn, grow, and get better.
I absolutely love this quote because it just sums it all up so perfectly. Be realistic. Know exactly where you stand, but never, ever limit how high you can climb. It's that blend of being practical and being ambitious that unlocks everything.
And that's really the big takeaway for today. So stop focusing on the things you don't have. Instead, run your life, your skills, your circumstances through that MILS framework. Look at what you think are your weaknesses and ask yourself, how could this actually be a strength? The real question you need to ask yourself is this: what's my unique, uncopyable edge? What is my unfair advantage?